Good evening, class. Today is June 26th, and it's also the hottest day of the summer so far, with a high of 106. Hopefully, you have spent most of your day in air conditioning. I only mention this because we at the DHS have been having some air conditioning problems. For the past month or so, we've been air conditioned by a large, window air conditioner that's been parked in front of the DHS, the Sequoia building, and the two air conditioners I have in the basement have been broken. I guess there was a third one that's been broken for years, but these, I guess they're finally fixed them this week because at the DHS it got up in the 80s because the window air conditioner was working relatively fine up until it got into the hundreds, and now it's getting warm, so we're up in the 80s inside the Sequoia building. So hopefully those will be fixed tomorrow, so I'll get to join the rest of you that get to work in air conditioning, but hope is always at a 10. Also, you may hear in the background my dog may be whining because for some reason my neighbors decided to smoke some pork this afternoon and this evening, and he's watching them do that out the window and hoping to get some, but I don't think he's going to be that lucky. So, anyway, moving right along. Today we're going to talk about the world of words, which is verbal communication, which we use on a daily basis. But before we do that, those of you haven't turned in the Symbolism activity, make sure you do that. That was the activity from last time. Alright, so this is chapter 4. So let's talk briefly about some of the slides. First slide I want to talk about, there's a couple characteristics about symbols. And when I talk about a symbol, this can be anything. Usually when I'm in class, I should show a picture of a peace symbol. I talk about there's no reason that symbol should mean peace. So that means that symbols are arbitrary. There's no reason the peace symbol means peace. It's ambiguous. That symbol can mean different things to different people. Peace means different things to different people. And they're abstract. There's a lot of different ideas that people have about peace. So, alright. So, language and culture reflect each other, and the meaning of language are subjective. So, different cultures have different meanings for different words. So if you've ever been to the UK or to Australia or heard someone from the UK or Australia talk to us, the words that they use are a little bit different, and sometimes they attach different meanings to different words. So language has a lot of different things that it can do, and I'm on slide 5 right now. One of the main things it can do is it can allow us to talk about the hypothetical. And the example I use in my class, and I'll use here as well, is it allows us to talk about things like God. We can't really describe God without verbal communication. We also can't describe things that we can't see. So, like, I can't communicate about Mount Everest unless I can talk about it verbally, unless I'm actually at Mount Everest, and then it's still a lot more difficult. So, it allows us to talk about hypothetical things, like things we can't feel and touch and be around, or that are hypothetical. So, let's see here. Language evaluates. Usually I do an activity about different ways we talk about things and talk about how language is kind of sexist in a way, but I can't really do that with the online class, so maybe I'll do a discussion related to that. Once again, language allows us to talk about abstract things. It allows us to talk about different, if we don't have verbal, we can't really talk about the past and the future as much. It's really about what's going on around us. So verbal communication allows us to talk about the 3 dimensions of time: past, present, future. Alright, so speech communities. One of the things that tends to happen when we have verbals is that different communities form based upon languages. And that's both international, so we form our community in this nation based upon our language. And within that, within the United States, we have different language cultures that develop that are more regionalized. And if you go to other countries, they have different dialects. We have different dialects here too, but once I went a long time ago, I went to Belgium, and they speak, I think Flemish is the Belgian language, French, and then something else, German. All three in the same city, and those form different communities. So it also allows us to talk about self more. We can't really talk or I should say communicate. We can't really communicate about self as much without verbals. Once again, those are the kind of things I want to touch on. Like I say, you always get the PowerPoints on D2L or the online classroom. But the last thing your book always does, it gives you a kind of a pep talk for guidelines for improving verbal communication, which you guys can go over. Talks more in the book, but it's the last slide of the presentation. All right, so next time we're gonna talk about nonverbal communication. I have an activity related to that. But before I talk about this week's activity, I want to talk. One of your colleagues messaged me to ask about how they should turn in their assignments to the discussion board. As far as the points are concerned, it really doesn't matter. But some of you are attaching them, using them as attachments. Some of you are just pasting them into the text of your post. I would suggest it's easier to simply paste that into the text into your post, just because everyone can read it without having to download it. So I guess I'd prefer that you guys did that for the future, but you aren't going to lose points either way. So the activity we're doing this week is related to nonverbal communication, which we'll talk about in module number 5. And what I want you to do is I want you to go to a public environment. So this could be a restaurant, park. I would suggest maybe doing something inside, because it's supposed to be 100 every day this week. Shopping mall, something like that. And I want you to observe the nonverbal communication going on. So I want you to think about different things. So what's going on between the people, and observe them from a distance that you can't really hear what they're. So you can hear you can hear them, but maybe not hear the actual words. Because one of the nonverbals is the tone. So loudness is actually a nonverbal, whereas verbal would be the actual words they're using. So you can hear them, just not be able to hear what they're actually talking about. So I want you to think about what's going on between two people. Think about the different nonverbal characteristics that the book talks about. Proxemics, which is how much space between the people. Touch, which is haptics, and other things. So if you're looking for those, they're on page 130 to 138 in your book. And once again, write a one-page times your Roman 12-point double-spaced response discussing your perception of the observed nonverbals. And that'll be due next Monday. So do that. I think that was all I wanted to talk about for this time. So also, the test will be moved. I think in the syllabus. I don't know if it's necessarily moved. We aren't ready for it in 2 days. The test was in the syllabus was listed for Thursday and Friday, but we won't be ready for that. So let's put it back till next week. So it'll be open Monday and Tuesday, and then you'll have the 4th of July will be a nice break for us. So the two main things: make sure when you post your assignments to the discussion board, just paste them in. Don't use them as attachments. And the exam will be next week rather than being at the end of this week. That's all I want to talk about today. So hopefully you will stay cool out in the 100+ degree heat, and I'll see you next time.